everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I have a review of the latest release from KAYALI, part of Huda Beauty. It is the new KAYALI OUDGASM Smokey Oud. So I'll let you know what this smells like, how it compares to the other oud perfume she released last year. If you're new here, then hello and welcome. I'm all about perfumes. I have hundreds of videos like this. I do have a video on all the other KAYALI fragrances that I'll leave linked below. And of course my blog, SokiLondon.com, where I have a detailed article that goes through all the KAYALI fragrances. As always, I'll leave the links down below in the description box to where you can get this all around the world where it's available, along with the links to my perfumes, Empress, Aphrodite, and my super concentrated soy wax candles. And if you're a regular viewer, do make sure you're subscribed and give the video a thumbs up. So the KAYALI Fragrances is an independent brand that is run by Mona Kattan, who's the sister of Huda Kattan, who started off on YouTube, kind of like me, and then she launched her Huda Beauty makeup range, which has been unbelievably successful. Her sister, Mona, I think operates as the CEO of that, and then she also is in charge of creating and running the fragrance business that's called KAYALI. They're based in Dubai, and last year they released 4 new oud perfumes, really inspired by their heritage in the Middle East. And I thought it was a really great way of doing oud because it kind of had something for everyone if you're a fan of oud. Oud is essentially like this balmy, syrupy stuff that comes from a particular tree. It's a very strong perfume note. It's slightly incensey, very ambery and warm, and it's used in both male and female fragrances, and these are all unisex fragrances, gender neutral. It's very deep, it's used a lot in the Middle East, and she kind of did something for pretty much everyone by doing a sweet oud, the vanilla oud, a floral oud, a rose oud, a cafe oud, which combined it with a coffee note, which was really nice, and a bit of milkiness, and then a tobacco oud that had a slightly green tobacco-y feeling to it. And I do have my detailed video that goes through them all. I'll leave it linked below. So she's now released this 5th version called Smokey Oud. So it says the next chapter of KAYALI's OUDGASM collection has arrived. This 5th gem in the collection, OUDGASM Smokey Oud, a warm enigmatic fragrance that explores the power and opulence of oud while blended with spicy saffron, aromatic geranium, mossy cedarwood, and powdery white musk. It says this is a scent that really works for people who feel super confident and that love to wear bold fragrances. I would say that all the OUDGASM ones are very bold. And it says, Mona says, this fragrance was created for all my oud lovers out there, and I can confidently say it's the most intense KAYALI fragrance they've ever launched. So I can see on the packaging it says intense, eau de parfum intense. All the KAYALI fragrances come in these cardboard containers, and if you saw my video the other day about fragrance concentrations, you'll know that eau de parfums tend to be 10 to 20% perfume concentrate. But when something's called an eau de parfum intense or elixir or parfum, it can sometimes be much more than 10 to 20%. Brands don't publicize the actual concentration, but I would think that this is definitely at least 20, probably over 20%. My Aphrodite I did 30%, and my Empress I did 40% because I really wanted to make something that lasted for you guys. So the scent, wow. So she's definitely right that this is the strongest perfume that I've seen from KAYALI. It's really strong. This actually reminds me of the Amouage fragrance brand. Some of the very expensive ouds you can get if you go to places like Harrods, Selfridges. You have very expensive fragrance brands where the perfumes are like £200-300. It's definitely giving me that kind of vibe. There's also a tobacco oudy perfume in the Dior Privé range. Again, that's about £250. It's definitely strong. I can really detect a bit of patchouli, and I can definitely detect the geranium. It's incredibly strong. So whereas the others she released were definitely strong, like for sure, they had other things going on like fresher rose or the sweet vanilla, whereas in this, the other things going on with the oud are just as heavy as the oud, if that makes sense. So it doesn't feel sweet to me. It doesn't feel spicy. It feels like patchouli, floral, intense oud. I have to say, I don't get a lot of tobacco. I personally find in fragrances, tobacco is often quite green because it's the tobacco leaf, Whereas here, it's giving me vibes of like the old classic Estee Lauder fragrances, you know, like a Youth Dew or something like that, like a super heavy, intense, like a Dior Poison fragrance. It's definitely for people that want something that's like intense. I have to say, for this level of intensement of like the Oud, this is a 50ml, by the way. This is £119, and there's also a 10ml that's 35. I would say you could easily pay 3 times that for one of the more expensive brands for something that was just as intense. So Oud like is often very expensive. So I do think that if you're a lover of Oud, this Oud range is great value for money. They have also done a Oud wood collection that you burn, like a home fragrance for these different Oudgasm fragrances. You get the KAYALI burner and then the wood that is scented with this Oudi scent, and I believe this is something that's very traditional from the heritage in the Middle East, and I can imagine that that would be very intense. Like you could have that burning while you get ready, then spray this on your way out, and I'd say you'd be smelling of this fragrance all day and probably the next day. So I definitely say this is probably one of the strongest releases I've reviewed in a long time, and certainly they're right that this is the strongest KAYALI fragrance. It definitely feels like a very expensive niche vibe, and I think it is pretty affordable at 119 compared to what you pay from other brands for something similar. So in that sense, it's Soki approved. Let me know if you've tried this one yet, or the other Oud fragrances, which is your favorite from KAYALI. Let me know in the comments down below. Like I said, I'll leave all the links in the description box where you can get this. But that's it, guys. So thanks so much for watching as always, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.